arms, you ain't a quarterback. Don't get sucked into that, Leaf. Do not get sucked into that, brother. All right, my man. I know where to find you at, Leaf. I appreciate you, brother.
Man, don't fail.
Don't you worry about that, brother. What up, Breezy?
Chilling, man. Try not to be the villain. Yo, I was listening to you and Leaf conversation. Shout out to Leaf. Shout out to everybody that was on the panel. Shout out to you, Chill.
Thank you,
I was listening to y'all. And I was looking at the playoff record between Carmelo and John Stockton. It wasn't that stellar, you know. And I'm just saying,
got a losing record. They actually got a losing record in the playoffs. They one game under 500 in the playoffs. One game.
Right. I said that to say, in your opinion, and then I'm gonna ask why I'm really here, but I'll just continue to what you and Leaf were saying. Do you think that teammates duo can have that same kind of success and stay together for that much of a tenor, or the team will break it up before that happens?
Not in today's game. Not in today's game. And the reason why is because the expansion of media, not only the expansion of media, the amount of money, location now won't allow guys to stay together for 10, 11 seasons. It won't happen. I can give you a prime example, Leaf. The way we are today with guys having a bad playoff series, 2 bad playoff series, Scottie Pippen and Jordan ain't together today. They're not. They're not staying together today. If we saw Tragic Magic today, him, James Worthy, and Jabbar, they're not together today. That's not happening. Bird and the Celtics getting swept out of the playoffs in '83 after winning the championship 2 years before that, they're not together today. And the reason why they're not together is because of how the expansion of media, the amount of money that these guys make, and where the league is today in terms of notoriety. I just don't see guys staying together that long. I would love to see guys stay together for that long, because you know what that means? That means that units are getting built.
Right.
And with units getting built, that also means that camaraderie is there and continuity is there. Like, I don't know how much longer Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown going to be together. I don't.
That was my next question. I
don't know how much longer those two guys are going to be together. I would love to see these guys stay together, because I think that they're going to win it at some point. I do believe that they're going to win it.
But do you want Tatum to stay a Celtic?
I do. I because the league, you being in New York, you know this as well as I do. When New York teams are good, when Boston is good, when the Lakers are good, the NBA is better. The NBA is just better. That doesn't mean that I don't care about what's going on in Oklahoma City, or I don't care about what's going on in Minnesota. It's just that the masses care more about what's going on in Chicago, in New York, in Boston, in Miami than they do in Portland.
Now, to add to what you're saying, and I know you know this already, but the founder teams, the NBA started with like 11 teams, right?
8
teams, and the teams that you mentioned, they are some of them with the Lakers and the Celtics and you know what I'm saying, the New York team. So you always want to see success out of those teams.
Right.
And to your point about the league being better, the play-in tournament, I am taking a little more to like it. I was watching before I pulled up. As well as with you. I wanted to ask you though, do you, out of all of those groups, do you see any rivalries brewing out of these groups, or nah, I'm too premature with it?
Well, sure, because again, what I got to do is I got to see what the groups are, because all they did, Breezy, was take and I think I said this on the panel a couple of days ago. All they did was take the Central Division. They took that off and put Group A, and with the that's all they did. And with the Bulls, Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, and Milwaukee are all in the Central Division. So instead, they took Central Division off. They put Group A, and instead of all 5 of them in, they took Cleveland out and they put Atlanta in, and they took Indiana out and they put the Knicks in that division. That's all they did. So
I think
you can make that. I think you can make it competitive, considering that this could possibly be a playoff matchup later on. So I think it's too early to tell right now. But if we see later on down the line where we get to the playoffs and I don't know, Cleveland sees the Knicks again, we may have ourselves a rivalry going on where Cleveland is better and they may beat the Knicks. Now we have a rivalry going on because they were in the division or they were in the play-in tournament Final Four and they got it on, and then it spilled over into the playoffs. We may see something like that.
All right. So
Yeah.
my last question, just to simplify it, like you said, just keeping it divisions. What do you think is the toughest Western Conference division and the toughest Eastern Conference division?
That's what I'm saying though, Breezy. I gotta see in terms of the in-season tournament. I gotta see exactly
It
what
is early. We
I,
2-1. I think we played the most games with 3.
you guys have played the most games. Let me take a look at the divisions really quickly.
Because
Hold
I
on.
know the Atlantic Division, I always tried to make an argument that we were the toughest with Boston, Philly,
Right.
Brooklyn, Knicks, and Toronto. And us pretty much out of 6 teams, 5 of them usually go to the playoffs. But you see Toronto, they just missed it with the play-in situation. But that's how, based on who's the most competitive division, how many teams went to the playoffs out of that division.
I think this Group B in the Western Conference. I think all 5 of these teams could make the playoffs. Houston, New Orleans, Denver, Dallas, and the Clippers.
Wow.
I think all 5 of those teams could be very well be playoff teams.
It
All
might be
5
the toughest group.
When I'm looking at them, with the exception of them and Group C with Sacramento, Minnesota, and Golden State and Oklahoma City, that's a pretty tough division also. San
I was
Antonio
about to say, I'll probably give it to Group C before Group B.
Of course, because if you're looking at Sacramento, Minnesota, arguably the best defensive team in the game, Golden State, one of the most high octane offenses, Oklahoma City, one of the best young teams in the league. So that Group C is serious, and that Group C and that Group B in the Western Conference, those two I think are probably the most competitive in the West. Now in the East, with you guys, Boston, Orlando. I think it's more top heavy. Toronto is a lot better than what I thought they were. That looked like a playoff game tonight, Breezy. It did.
Yeah, I heard that, but
it looked like a playoff game. It did.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised too. I'm looking to see them, but we haven't seen them yet. But they're in our division, so we see them 4 times a season.
Right.
So and they were always competitive. I'm not gonna lie, and for the most part, they got the best of the Nets for a long time. Just last season, we swept them, but that didn't happen in a long time. But yeah, man, I'm gonna be watching, man, and watching the show, man. I appreciate you, Chill.
Absolutely, brother. You know where to find me at. Out.
All right.
What up?
Can you hear